I'm ready to go.
But those matches are all important for different reasons, Moff, right? This one is important for Yogurt mainly to get some points to overtake Dark Side. That's the same story for the next match. And then the third match of the day, Mafia versus W, is a very important one as well for the points from W mainly, and Mafia as well, because they lost their last match. Whoever wins that, between that, if CASHBACK and Hit and Run also in Moff, is going to be keeping in pace, but the one that loses that is going to lose the back of the pack.
Well, you know, points mean prizes, and pretty much every match is important for each team for one reason or another. Yogurt, like you said, they're going to be eyeing up that 5th place spot, all important because it means they secure their next season in the OLS, and they get a little bit of prize money. CASHBACK, the team that's in form right now, along with Hit and Run, like you said, they're starting to pick up the pace, they're building up steam, they're building that momentum. In Phase 1, they had a couple of shaky games where they lost to people that we wouldn't have expected. Yogurt being one of those teams, of course, they actually beat them in Phase 1. Are we going to see the same level of upset again? I think probably not.
No, I don't think that can happen twice either, but we'll see. Squeezy here, standout player this time around for CASHBACK. Also, Season 1 MVP, I think?
Yes, Season 1 MVP. I think, who was Season 2 MVP? I think it was, they gave it to Frugo, right?
I think they gave it to Frugo.
The cooking strats.
I think they did give it to Frugo because of all the cooking.
Meanwhile, Yogurt are bringing a BZ75, Sente X, Hurricane, that's a CS63, double 430U, a Foch B, and an RHM. So, CASHBACK, as you pointed out, they're still very much leaning into the K91 meta. They've got a Leo as well, so they have triple mini-strike tanks, so capping or being capped shouldn't really be a threat to them.
They also have amazing DPM on these K91s, of course. The plane in the beginning hits very little. It seems like Brainbreaker is the only one actually getting spotted out. Liberty will be spotting out the info point. Kvik will not be able to take it. And you can see their eyesight with the first shot of the game on towards that. Liberty actually getting blind shot on the spotting point. Good stuff there from Yogurt. So neither team getting the information that they would want in the beginning.
No, not really. And the blind is very important, right? Because if you can stall it out just for a little bit extra time and make your opponent not aware of what's happening, that can be all important. Squeezy already clearing out the entire forest here, and he spots out Kvik in the RHM. We're going to have to keep an eye on the 1v1 between those two, but Kvik is very committed here, and he's not got a lot of teammates in great positions to support. Good shot by Squeezy. The plane comes out, and it doesn't connect. I don't know if that was Kvik putting the plane. He perhaps thought Squeezy that was a lot closer than he actually is, and now he's moving up and puts in another shell. 520. Kvik, he cannot really leave this situation. If he tries to cross while spotted, he's potentially going to get shot, but it doesn't look like anyone was prepared.
No, and the plane comes out from Liberty to spot Kvik on the runaway, but doesn't seem like anybody's really there to shoot it, so the plane gets used by him. He will not have another one available right now, and now Yogurt reacting to this pressure with the AX, with the 430U as well. Mindbreaker getting plowed a little bit in that Foch B, taking a lot of damage. Pops the ability, will be healing back. Anabans now pushing forward. Squeezy screening for his teammates, but in return though, Ramadik here in that BZ75. We talked about that BZ75 yesterday, Moff, that it's not really such a good tank in general. It's just good to take position. You can see here, he's just falling for this altogether.
Yeah, the HP Pinata is not going to be achieving anything in this game, and over-rotation from Yogurt, it has to be said, allows the BZ75 to get basically picked for free, and now CASHBACK, with a lot of fast mediums and light tanks, they can just run away from the forest. They don't have to contest this if they want to. Barbarian looks like he wants to hold the bottom corner of the map, and Depressed pushing up here is going to find himself in a crossfire. He's going to have to wait for his teammates to come up behind him so that they can actually make this play, but the whole while they're bleeding HP.
Yeah, you can see them just pushing over the open. Already Mindbreaker falls against Aka. Big strike coming in, but the damage on Yogurt's side is so big. Love in the open will fall this chill. Fine. Zero line with that EBR 75, and once the first easy.
Yeah, very clean, solid round from too much that look really.
I mean, what, you're not winning.
Especially RHM, W being the main tanks for light tanks, which is just on occasion, but I think for a well-balanced lineup that actually can react to can sort of stand up and fight against the opponent directly a little bit more. It's a good mix.
This Can Any Once is some new trend from CASHBACK that they've been using. Well, not just on this map, but even on Pilsen they were using it yesterday as well, and it is working for them. What do you think Yogurt needs to change against this CASHBACK approach?
Well, what worked for them before was just taking the straight fight. When they played against W, they had a lot of success just pushing straight into them and just forcing the engagement. It's difficult to do, though, because it's not like CASHBACK is unaware that that's a possibility, and they're positioning their tanks very strategically around the map, so it's like, okay, you push here, then we...
Approach by the looks of HM.
Meanwhile, we've got a CS going for the mid-back going. If we look at Yogurt, they're going right now.
One thing, so we CASHBACK, the push B, the Blitzka 9 by the side of actually doing way domestic. Clearance has been issued, and now Anaban's in that E50M. It's also in a little bit of struggle. The 60 TP is not the easiest tank to play against. He has Liquor in support, but you see he is still reloading. In the meantime, Squeezy is already approaching from a different angle.
Yeah, this is a big commitment from the E50M to go into the low ground there, because even once he kills the 60 TP, that's if he manages to do so, and it looks like they will find that kill, Liquor with the pick, but he's getting crossfired in the meantime. And is this trade even that good for the side of Yogurt, because they kill the 60 TP, but at what cost? Liquor is now getting clipped by an unspotted Squeezy, who snuck back around towards A6, providing great crossfire for his team. And Anaban's, you know, the 60 TP is dead, but at what cost? Because now he's just stuck behind a building in E4. He can't leave, he can't stay, he's probably just going to die to strikes.
Yeah, they somehow need to pick off I-Set there in the CS63, but that's going to be very hard as well. A good move here from Yogurt, realizing that they need to reinforce the two line. They are bringing the press in that E50M. But in the meantime, Anabans, you talked about him, he's dead. He's gone. I mean, Squeezy takes one, but kills him off almost immediately after. Good playing there from Liberty. It is on the edge, but it hits, and that's all that he needs to do. The BZ now coming as well. So is the push B for the side of CASHBACK, though. Both teams doing good reinforcements, but in a little bit of a peculiar position there. Gets spotted out again. Might take one more from this AX to get into safety. But now you could see Yogurt clawing their way back in HP MOF, but have pretty decent positions.
They do have the crossfire now, the Batchat off screen, just putting some shots into Barbarian, and the 277, it may be a great pushing tank, but if it's just holding an angle, it's not really the greatest tank to be using in the situation. Little's also kind of stuck behind this building now as well, and similar to the same problem that the E50M had of Anabans, these tanks are now committed here. They can't really leave, and the damage is significant. The kill comes in from Ramadik on towards Little in the Fosh B, and now Depressed is committed towards a building. That's going to force Barbarian to run away in the middle of the open. Can Love find the shots in order to pick up that kill? Brainbreaker sneaking through the south of the map. They're going to look for that kill on the Sente X, but Love wisely is already running away.
Yeah, I don't think Love is going to be caught here at all in that AX. He's going to back off towards G1. He's able to do that as well, losing relatively little. Ramadik down towards the one shot, but Depressed now moving in on towards Barbarian. I-Step at the big strike will pick up that BZ75, and now Love, take it back, is getting caught out after all. I thought he would keep running, but he tried to go G1 MOF, which ended up not being the right play whatsoever.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Yogurt are going to trade it out. They're going to go for IZ. They're trading off the pieces here. Kvik is going to pick up that kill. Can he do it without taking an additional shot? No, but he still finds the kill. The light tank's going to be so important in the end game here. Brainbreaker now committing into the fight versus Depressed. I'm not sure this is the greatest play, but Squeezy has crossfire in the bat chat as well. Brainbreaker, you can see, struggling with the gun arc, but he finds the kill, and that is the most important detail into the 3v2.
Liquor is a 2-shot, Squeezy is a 3-shot, Liberty is also a 3-shot. Squeezy somehow.
He's going to have to give first shot and then somehow not take the first one from Squeezy. That's the only way he has a chance.
But if he tries to run away, he's dead.
And the radar comes out, so he gets spotted. And immediately Brainbreaker hits the shot, so some fantastic marksmanship there. And that's going to...
That AX, right, of Yogurt, Love not running away further, I think is the doom there for them. Yeah,
I think ultimately that's what cost them the chance of getting into this game. I think it's because he ran away to G1 initially, and then I think he realized I can't stay here, and then tried to run away further.
Yeah, if he just went straight down the 2 line, he would have always made it out.
Yeah, that's very true. And that would have given them a pretty good fighting chance. And he would have been able to crossfire if he got to C3, for example, he would have been able to crossfire Brainbreaker, who was just driving around that building in the open before they picked up the second E50M. But a much more competitive round, I would say. But in the end, it's still CASHBACK.
What does that remind you of? Yesterday there was another team that was in a similar situation. It was Mafia against Darkside, right? The rounds were close, but it was Mafia running away with it. And kind of the same story here in this round, for sure.
Yeah, just teams showing a little bit more stability in the clutch. Just able to close out the rounds. And Yogurt, they kept it close, but ultimately... Oh, missed shot there from Brainbreaker, but Squeezy will be the one to... Oh, drifting from Quick. The Flipwagen strikes again. Squeezy finds the kill, and that's going to put CASHBACK up 2-0 on Yogurt's map pick. They could have gone even further towards the north in like A4, A5, and maybe found some angles there. They didn't need to sacrifice a tank to do that, but that's... Even despite that, they still had a very good chance of winning the round, but as you said... in the micro decision making from the players really cost them, and Love played pretty well up until that point, but just one mistake ultimately cost them the round.
I'm waiting for the team to drive like 5-6-8 down in the middle of the map, just like Himmels.
It's a possibility, right? It's a possibility. I think Yogurt would be the type of team that would be up for doing that. It's not going to be the case, though, unless we have a major shift in pre-battle planning here from Yogurt. It's going to be a Mouse, Stanьте X, double 430U, double Fosh B, and an RHM.
CASHBACK in return, sticking true to the EBR, the Fosh B, the triple T57, the E100, and the 60 TP. RHM versus EBR MOV on this map.
Well, the EBR can get early info on the crossing at the start, which is very powerful, and it also can rotate faster than RHM can. I think part of the decision making for CASHBACK is if we pick an RHM, the plane ability, I think one of the main things that you want to plane is the balcony and C8, but apart from that, I think they perhaps decided that they would get more utility out of the EBR. It also means, look at Liberty, because he can just drive through the field, even though he's completely by himself. It doesn't actually matter, because he can just run away in that EBR. Triple cap has already been started from CASHBACK. Field strike is being taken, though, by Yogurt, so that's not going to be an immediate problem. Kvik does not have a plane, however. They did pick up radar, but they already used that. It's going to have to be a blind strike here.
And Liberty did not get to reset that strike on the east, which he really wanted to. Love sniffing him out, actually. Doesn't spot him. Liberty zooming past. That was close. And now the 57s are opting to push down the middle instead on towards the Ramadek, who came to block the cap. Can they blow him up quickly enough? That's a lot of damage piling in on towards that Mouse. There's a few shots left between these T57s, but I don't think they have enough. It's going to have to be Aka somehow that'll do it, and he won't, because he gets shut down by Humble in the Forge B. And now these 57s, well, they're reloading, and Forge B's from Yogurt moving in. It's a real opportunity for them here, Moth, to pick up this round, as Liquor now coming in as well. Squeezy tries to shield, Liquor dodges past, will find the kill. It's actually Ramadek to put him down, and now CASHBACK left with just 4 tanks against the 7 from Yogurt.
Yeah, Yogurt here with a brilliant repush, and the Mouse still alive. Ramadek, with all that HP, manages to bounce a couple of shots, presumably from those T57s, because there's just so much firepower there, and he still managed to survive. And as bad as Miravanko was for Yogurt, they're going to be bringing it back and picking up their first round in this match, which is very important, of course, because if they lost this one, they'd be down to match point already, which would be a pretty tough spot to recover from. But in the end, it looked quite easy.
Everything working out for them, taking the Eastern Strike, even though the EBR was supposed to reset that. The Mouse not dying to come and get the secondary reset. I mean, for Yogurt, it was perfect. And then I think even they had the push Bs in the perfect position on the 4 line to cover against this mouse over peak. You know, when they had to go wide with T57s, and it was good from Yogurt. It was very good.
This felt like a blast from the past in terms of strategy idea from CASHBACK. We saw it a lot in Season 1, if you remember back to then, where we had this sacrificial, playing such a gamble strat, like committing the T57s onto the cap, and if the cap doesn't work out, then you're going to be forced to push off into crossfire. It did not work at all. And look, Little even only did 400 damage, just showing the difficulty with the T57s since the changes. 4-3-1, and that was all he got to contribute.
It's not very much whatsoever across the board, though. For Yogurt, much better pressure. It's not something teams struggle with anymore, Moff, in general, and they're gonna change it up now. Double IS7, double mouse, double push B, and an EBR.
Yeah, still rocking the EBR this time, but they've ditched the T57s for good. That is for certain. Yogurt, meanwhile, bringing a mouse T57 heavy, 1-2 on B, double Fosh B, an E4, and Kvik in the RHM. So, Inspire tank for Yogurt. I think CASHBACK brought this exact lineup in the match yesterday against W.
Could be. I mean, I just very much remember an IS7 driving down 0 line by himself into a Fosh B and a bat.
Yeah. I think, and then there was a second i7 playing on the coal piles in the middle, being able to spot on turret, anything that goes that way. And so far, a very passive opening for CASHBACK. We've got the Fosh B going all the way to A1, which, trust me, it is a very, very annoying position to deal with if you want to try and push through the 1-2-3 line. Liberty doing some early spotting here, deciding to go for that strike early on. Always good to have that in your back pocket, just in case an immediate cap attempt does come through. But both teams settling in for quite a passive game.
Neither team really committing to too much, but Yogurt has a slight advantage, Moff. No, actually, never mind. They only will be able to take one strike. Ramadek is never capping that.
Well, it depends how long Liberty wants to mess around shooting HE. We got him going for the radar now. Kvik does not have a plane, though. So that is free information. All 7 tanks spotted on Yogurt now. And how do CASHBACK use this? Barbarian lets off a shot. Notifies Ramadek to his position. And Ramadek realizes now... Actually, he did take the strike, so kind of a steal there. Managing to get that one away.
You shouldn't have been able to get that one, to be honest, in the IS7. I mean, Liberty...
I think it's because Liberty was preoccupied with taking radar, and then Barbarian, IS7 low DPM, probably only had one opportunity to shoot and bounce the shot. Now, a rotation from Yogurt. They are going to try and retake some control here over the field, but that's going to be potentially difficult to do. Brainbreaker is committing forwards in that IS7. That's going to be a very entrenched tank if they want to push into him.
They are starting to rotate for the side of Yogurt altogether towards this eastern side with 5 tanks. Brainbreaker, you said a very hold on is what he's going to be. He gives one to Kvik immediately in the RHM, and there will be a big follow-up coming from Yogurt. Liquor is sneaking past Omov. No, never mind. Take it back. He's not sneaking past.
That could have been huge if he managed to get across unspotted. It would have been able to push down the 0 line and start shooting Brainbreaker in the back or the side potentially. But that position is just very, very annoying to deal with. And I think Yogurt realize now that they're not going to... If they want to go back for the field, they're not going to be able to do it unspotted. Liberty tries to go for radar again, baits it out. I think Kvik did use the plane there, so...
They have strikes to deny it.
Yeah, good play from Liberty to bait out the plane here. And again, Yogurt now kind of back to the drawing board. This IS7 position is very, very awkward for them to deal with. And it doesn't look like they are entirely sure of how they want to approach it. Oof. He does get spotted. Liberty
He did
off screen just takes a lot of
wasn't
damage.
spotted, actually, for the first one, for the E4. No way, the E4 just tapped him unspotted altogether. CASHBACK trying to react by pushing Ramadik. Nice shooting there from the E4, gives a shot back. Ramadik just facing off against IS-7, and there's the push them off. You can see it now on towards Brainbreaker. Liquor pushing from behind these IS-7s. Where does Brainbreaker go? He's getting pincered. Humble decides not to commit, knowing that Liquor is going to do it together with Mindbreaker, who's pushing over now as well. The two of them will make short work of this singular tank in the middle of the map. They pick him up relatively unscathed. I mean, yeah, they lose Ramadik and Humbles on 900, but a full IS-7 for that is pretty good. The bigger issue here for Yogurt is this E4 kind of being in no man's land.
Yeah, it was a very clean kill, but in the meantime, CASHBACK, they cleaned up that mouse in middle, and that's the anchor position sort of gone. That's the press buddy there, his teammate going down and out, and Kvik now getting shot as he tries to run away. The press puts a good shot in towards Aka, but shooting the RHM is always going to be more valuable than a mouse taking any sort of damage, and the push from Yogurt here looks like a push of desperation right now. This is not going to work as Liquor would have wanted. He is going to be able to start clipping. Actually, maybe it is going to be kind of okay, because he's going to get his full clip off at least before he goes down, and starts to heal back, and he's no longer a one-shot for Barbarian.
And now he's backing off. Low little wants to peek this, but he's shooting Humble instead. He will find the kill as well, and Barbarian on a one-shot still kicking. Love should be the finish, but look at the HP in the meantime of while we've been watching this. I mean, Yogurt's about half. They're only one gun down, and yeah, a lot of it is on the mouses, but still these mouses are starting to roll in as well.
Yeah, and if it was only the mouse left with that HP, perhaps there would be a way back, but they've still got Liberty alive. The strikes come in as well. Liberty in the EPR is going to make this pretty much unrecoverable for Yogurt here, and the Foch B closing in from the north as well. Little is not going to allow Kvik to escape. Squeezy pushing up as well. They are going to pass each other, and Little is going to turn that boat around with the ability popped, which is a pretty cool thing to do. You can use that, but he still gets deleted, so going to be stalled out for just a little bit longer here, but only prolonging the inevitable is Kvik, as CASHBACK will be putting themselves up on towards match point.
Yeah, 3-1 for CASHBACK. We had to take a quick pause because Moff was here crying, running to the toilet, as it's not 4-0 like he predicted. It's going to be okay, Moff. There's always next season.
There's always next season to lose, yeah, more points. I've come to peace.
Have you?
In terms of it, I have come to terms with it.
Is that you coping, or?
Yeah, okay, but that's not really fair, because
that far behind, though, to be honest.
Well, no, the reality is quite different, because the way the prediction games works, normally there's sort of like a base prediction that everyone kind of has a feeling is sort of the expected score, and if you want to catch up in points, you have to deviate from that quite significantly, and one of those ways in doing that is going for the gamble of predicting 4-0, but obviously that's not going to come to fruition, but that was already the case.
I mean, you got 21 out of
round.
31 correct, or no, it's 21 out of 35.
Is that still going to be the case? We haven't seen it for a while, so it'd be good to see what the teams have in mind. Yogurt definitely going for that Juggernaut TD meta, but not the sort of Juggernaut TDs that were previously the meta on this map.
Yeah, not quite. They're going for those American TDs. 4 of the E4s, the AX, the CS, the E100, but then CASHBACK in return Moff is some cooking as well. 4 E100s, double T57 and double Foch B, 3 E100s. Now that's still a lot of meat and armor.
It is a lot of HP, but never forget the E4 with the Juggernaut ability, 25% damage reduction. It has hidden HP that can be drawn upon in order to tank more shots. We've got Liberty going over towards the A line at the start. Is he going to try and bait for radar? That is the question. Neither team playing with light tanks. That is very, very strange to play on Studs Yankee without a single light tank from either side. We've got radar being taken by Liberty at the start, which he can afford to do because there's no light tanks in play. So a good read there from Liberty, being able to pick that up and recognize that there was no plane coming out at the start. He wasn't getting spotted, so he just bit the bullet and just went for it, and that gets his team full info. And now that CS of Ramadik, this position is usually very, very enticing to get repushed.
Yeah, but both teams are going to be very close here, though. And to be honest, Moff, against the triple E100, ooh, little, minus 2.1. I was going to say, against the triple E100, the E4 is a pretty decent counter, Moff. To be honest, with that big alpha, big APCR pen as well, and the ability, it kind of negates that extra HP, that extra armor, and the fight erupting here. Barbarian is the focus now for Yogurt, who are not going to let this game get decided by CASHBACK. They're going to try and make their own decisions, and Brainbreaker does find a kill from behind and return as well. But now Yogurt's push is starting to slowly but surely run out of steam. But do remember, there is a full HP Fosh B still moving in from the middle of the map. He's out for a while, and now that's Yogurt's sign to move in. Squeezy trying to clip out, will find all of his shots before going down, and that's really, really important for CASHBACK.
It is very important, and the HP is significantly in favor of the team in yellow right now. Just look at it at the top of your screen. The kills are being found, and Brainbreaker is going to be coming in just in the nick of time from the back lines to provide the required crossfire, but still in the 3v3 here. But if you just, again, look at the HP, CASHBACK have almost double the amount of their opponents in Yogurt, and Anaban's now getting repushed. There's a full HP E100 and a Fosh B popping the heal ability. Not that he needs it in order to close out this round. Liberty's going to be on reload. Mindbreaker potentially could have loaded HE there, but not that it would have made any difference to the outcome. I think it was a good push from Yogurt initially, but just a couple of missteps along the way. I like that they took initiative rather than waiting for their CS to get repushed.
Yeah, and they even got a really good initial volley, right, on to Little, which was 3 E4s hitting Little for about 2.1, so taking that into consideration, the start was there, but then the follow-up was not. Brainbreaker finds the ram kill, and it's just Mindbreaker left as the last one. Brainbreaker finds a shot, Aka, they'll put him in the grave, and it's going to be CASHBACK locking in the points, putting the pressure back on Hit and Run to win their respective match as well, with a 4-1 scoreline.
Did we really expect any other outcome from this game? I think Yogurt had a chance to put a foothold in this game, but it really had to. You can't leave points on the table for free when you're up and you have a chance to take a round against a team like CASHBACK. You not only need to convert those rounds, but you need to be able to rally and pick up more, and that just was not the case. I think a better showing from them overall compared to yesterday when they played against Hit and Run. They just got completely demolished in that one. So some positive signs to take away, but ultimately not enough.
Humble, they're not getting that much out. Neither did the E100s from CASHBACK, outside of course Aka, who's top of the board, but then you see already the 57s paying off, getting 2 clips each. The Fosh Bs for sure paying here with 2 clips each as well, and then Aka with the last E100 farming away at the team of Yogurt, who did have to overcome that initial HP deficit as well, right, Moff, against the lineup that they were playing.
Yeah, very awkward for them to deal with, but moving swiftly on to the next match of the day on the schedule, it's going to be Hit and Run against Darkside, and these two teams have a very unusual history in the head-to-head, and not one that people would expect given the names involved.
That was match number 1. Up next is Hit and Run versus Darkside, and Darkside are very lucky. They've 2 days in a row, I think, they get to, see Yogurt lose, so they know that no matter what happens, they don't have to give up the position. Yeah,
for now, but you don't really want to be thinking like that and clinging on to what you have. You want to be looking forwards and trying to make progress in the league, but we'll find out what they can do after some replays.